Hi, my name is Jay. Yes, I'm an interdisciplinary artist in Korea. As a child, that was the typical landscape of the houses. A lot of them didn't have any paint over it. And I really like that because the cement wall was very honest. It's extremely important to get proper art education. And like you said, there is, of course, a chance or a possibility that you could make the most amazing art without having gone to school. Murakami is trying to blur the distinction between pop culture and the high art, right? He's trying to like flip it or trying to merge the two, the super flat movement. I don't know if I told you this before, but I like making food analogies because art, I feel like is food for the soul. When I first had Japanese food, I didn't like it. I didn't like raw fish. It's like mushy fishy flavor and the texture. But after I spent many years with it working at the restaurant, I really like it. I could tell all the different flavors. So I still don't know how to appreciate it like 100%, but I definitely appreciate it much more. So it's the same way for art. There are always going to be art that I immediately like. Those are my favorite flavors. So Basquiat, Jackson Pollock, the colors, the line, the emotions that I get when I look at those art is immediate because those are the flavors that my soul is like very familiar with. I know those flavors. But there are other arts you need time to let it grow on you. If it's a new flavor, reading the artist bio and artist statement and those descriptions help me to understand the person better. That helps me to understand their flavor better. Learning about the artist, getting to know the artist definitely helps me to appreciate their art. The short answer is I was born with it. There's this thing called Big Five personality trait. It talks about personality dimensions that make up a personality as a whole person is actually deeply rooted in biology. And one of those dimensions is openness to aesthetics and openness to ideas, which is very closely related to creativity. It's actually a personality trait that people are just born with. You know, I know people that just don't understand art. They say, art is useless, it's a waste of time, I don't get it, right? Which is fine, it's okay. But when I make art, it's fun. I think it makes my life interesting and more meaningful. And again, this experience is very subjective. So I think some people are just born with the desire to explore possibilities, to like push the boundaries, to try to discover something that haven't been discovered or things that haven't been articulated. And the process of searching for these things, I think, gives life meaning for some of us, not everybody, but I think it definitely makes my life more meaningful when I do this. Like my case is I grew up in an artistic environment, right? And that could definitely help a person to develop a better appreciation for art. But the main part of what makes people artists and the reason why I'm an artist, I think it's just based on personality traits that are just deeply rooted in biology. Art is important because it goes back to what I said earlier about Jordan Peterson said this, artists are at the edge of knowledge and we're always searching for things not yet discovered or articulated yet. So I think what I'm searching for is a value structure, right? Because when I'm making these things, I made much more than this, but I chose these particular lines, shapes, colors, forms, combination, right? So these are what's left over. And the question is why? Why am I interested in this color rather than some other color? In this way, because it works the same way for symbols too. What do these symbols mean to me? That I keep including these symbols in my art rather than some other symbols. When you understand why, it will help you to understand your value structure and to understand your personality traits. And that's super important because when you understand yourself, I look at life as something that takes you from point A to point B. It could be happiness, it could be successful career, whatever it is. But in order for you to get there, you have to first understand where you are, right? and understanding your value structure, personality traits, and all that helps you to put a point in the location of where you are in life. Now I could start planning, like putting points in between, trying to strategize and formulate, okay, this is how I want to live my life so that I can get to this point. So that's one way why art is so important for me, because I have all these like stuff in my head that doesn't make sense, but when I make it into art, now it's in a physical form, tangible form that I could lay out, that I could observe, study, analyze, and try to understand more about myself. I think the purpose and function, the ultimate goal for anything I do is actually something that I came across a couple of years ago, which is the Ikigai philosophy. It's a Japanese philosophy about how to find a purpose and goal in your life, which is to take your passion, your talents, what the world needs, and what can get you paid for, right? I'm trying to live a happy and meaningful life, and I'm hoping that people that see my arts will do the same. But I think that's a secondary purpose and secondary function, because again, I'm an expressionist, so my primary function is for me to just have fun doing arts. Are exactly half my height and my full height, and that's why it's called 0.5. Yeah.
Oh.
There are a lot of, there's like just a lot of small details like that you would never, like just going into a gallery and looking at the art, you would never know these things.
Right?
But it's okay. It's not about like, I don't need everybody to understand every little detail about my art. Yeah. I want them, but I do want them to feel something. Like, I think one of the things that I don't want it to happen is people coming in here and then just looking at it, not feeling anything, and then leaving. Because I'd rather people feel, I much prefer that people have strong negative feelings, like, I don't like this, rather than not feeling anything.